Hello, I'm Ray here and you're watching Moto NZ. This is the Beta Alp 4.0 and that is the Aochi C6. Let's check it out. Alrighty, Beta Alp 4.0, 350cc engine, good little dual sport bike, switchable ABS and dual rider modes, all on knobbly tyres, great little bike, but not a lot of tech. So let's bring this bike into the 21st century with the Aochi C6. It's a touchscreen unit. It's got a GPS module built in, dual cameras feeding into this unit, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, all that good stuff, plus tire pressure monitoring. So this little unit really brings the Beta Alp 4.0 into the 21st century with its tech, because it's a basic little bike. It's a good little bike, but it's very basic. Right. Let's have a look at the install. So what I've done is I've been a little bit cheeky. Can I get the seat off? There we go. Instead of hardwiring the Aochi C6 into the wiring loom of the Beta Alp 4.0, so it turns on and off with the ignition, I've used this little device from Quadlock. This is the smart USB 12 volt adapter. So it's got three settings: on, off and auto. Basically what this does when it's on auto, you connect it directly to the battery and this will read the voltage from the battery. When it goes above 12.5 volts, which is pretty much what you need to start the bike, it will power on and supply power to whatever's plugged into the USB socket on this device. When the voltage goes below 12.5 volts, it turns off. Nice and easy. So I've done that because it's two connections straight to the battery, and it means that I can plug a USB device into the other end of it. Really easy. Doesn't get any more simple than that. So that is a USB plug here, supplying 5 volts, running under the fairing on the Alp up to the back of the Aochi device. This comes with the two wiring plugs, one to be connected directly to the battery, the other one has a USB plug on the end of it. So really nice and simple. We've got 4 cables coming off the Aochi, and if I show you the back, you can see them running down here. Nice tidy install, and the bracket holding it all on the handlebars with security screws, so that's nice and safe. So one of these cables is power, one of these cables is front camera, the other one is back camera, and the last cable is the remote, the controller, which is a hardwired controller on the handlebars. I haven't installed that. I also haven't installed the rear camera at this stage because it was a lot of wiring to try and fit into this compact little bike, so I haven't done that. But I've got the front camera. It's a 1080p camera feeding into the Aochi. We've got the SD card in the Aochi, and it's connected to my phone via Apple CarPlay. It's a good little system, and you can see with this little clip that I filmed, if you've played with Apple CarPlay before, it makes life really easy. Installation of this device is a little bit, it's not bad, it's just different. It's not what I probably would have done for the installation. So we've got this clamp right here on the bars, and one of the screws goes straight through the clamp and faces, you got the head of the screw here, and it pops through out here. The other one at the head of the screw is here, and it goes into this section which holds the ball mount. A little bit strange in that the head of the screw is at this end, and we've got so much thread hanging out facing the rider. I would have preferred shorter screws and the screws to go in from this side, and another way to mount this piece of the bracket to the mount. It just seems a little bit, the mount itself is fine, it's solid, there's nothing wrong with it, it's just the way I don't know, I would have designed it slightly differently. We've got rubber bush mounted screws into the back of the Aochi, which means we've got a bit of movement. We've got a little bit of vibration dampening there. Decent length cables running down here, and I've put them through the center of the bars. I would have put this bracket right in the middle of the handlebars, but the nut here kind of prevented me putting it there, and because the screws went in this way, I couldn't put them here and get a tool in under here to tighten them up. It was just a little bit fiddly, so I popped it out the side here. It'll mess with my OCD, but I'm sure it'll be okay. Alrighty, Aochi C6, let's fire it up and see what it looks like. What did I do with the key? I've lost it. Alright, Aochi C6, let's fire it up, see what happens. We put the key in. If I can get the key in, there we go, turn it on, and I'm going to have to start the bike. And nice and easily, it just fires up, just like that. Now, it does take a minute or two to connect the CarPlay to the device, but if I hit driving recorder, we can see we've got a feed nice and quick, no delay, no latency, or very limited latency, from the camera on the front of the bike, which is routed just down here. Where is it? Here somewhere. And otherwise, all the cables are nice and routed nice and tidily. Now, if I swipe sideways, it changes the layout. That's to the back camera feed, which I haven't plugged in. Now we've got side by side. If I swipe again, we've got side by side the other way, and then we just keep it on the front camera there. Now CarPlay is kicked in. We've got control over the apps. So all my normal apps from my phone, I can ring people. Got Apple Music, podcasts, Apple Maps, Google Maps, and River are probably the apps that I'm going to use more often than anything else. And Spotify, of course. So we go into our maps, and yeah, there we go. We've got control. The screen isn't the most responsive screen in the world, but it's definitely good enough for a device that's going to be on your bike. And you can see, compared to the nice bright TFT on the Beta here, it's pretty clean and clear and easy to stand out. So I've been for a ride. It doesn't move on the handlebars. It gives you all the information you need. If you want to have the ability to have visual maps on your handlebars, but you don't want to go and put your $1,500 phone on your handlebars, it's a really good solution for that, especially if you've got something that does Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. So no complaints from that front. And especially a bike like this that doesn't have a lot of electronics on it, it's a great addition. It means that you can update the electronics, keep all the functionality of your phone while you keep your phone in your pocket nice and safe. So pretty impressed with that. I don't really feel the need to go out on the ride on the road and film it, because you know what CarPlay does. It does what it says on the box, and Android Auto is pretty much the same. This unit, the Aochi C6, compared to any other brand's device on the market, I really like that they've included a USB socket to power this thing off. You don't have to wire it into your bike. I don't like hacking into wiring looms on motorcycles. I like to keep them. I like to keep all my accessories reversible. So good on Aochi for including that. Hardware seems solid, although the way that clamp mounts, it's fine. Absolutely, it does the job. I would prefer to have been designed slightly differently, but that's just me. Otherwise, it works nice and solid and stays exactly where it's meant to be. I like the security features. I like the dash cam. You never quite know when you're going to need a dash cam these days, whether it's not necessarily for a crash that you've been in, but maybe you've seen something, maybe you're a witness to something else. So that's pretty cool, and the memory inside the device works really nicely as well. So Aochi C6, it's really good for, as I keep saying, updating the electronics on a bike that doesn't have a lot of electronics to begin with. The tire pressure monitoring works really well and gives a temperature readout of your tires, although remembering that it's the air temperature, not the rubber temperature. So if you're using it to know when your tires are up to temperature for, leaning into a corner aggressively, I don't know if I would trust that, but good way to know roughly what your tire pressures are at, because who can be bothered getting down and testing them all the time? So there you have it, Aochi C6 Pro, really good device, and if you would like to grab one at a discounted price, you can in the link below. I am not being paid to make this video, and Aochi are not seeing this video before it goes live on this channel. But those are my honest thoughts on the device. We'll keep using it. I'll give you an update in a few weeks' time once I've got some miles on it and Worked out exactly what I use it for, but otherwise pretty good. Got any questions, chuck them in the comments box below. Like, comment, subscribe, you know the drill. We'll catch you in the next one. Hooroo!